Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight, a weekend series kicks off. Game number 1 of 3, the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Brad Thompson is here. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Cardinals playing very well. Win another series over Washington. And the offense, a big reason why.
Oh, no doubt about it. This offense has been searching for consistency all year long, and we think that they found some of it, especially this August. You see the average, 294. They're scoring a ton of runs, hitting homers, and Dan, one of the biggest things, cutting down on the strikeouts. There is no mistake. You cut down on the strikeouts, you put the ball in play, good things happen.
Take a look at the opponents upcoming for the Cardinals beginning tonight. Milwaukee, very good team. Then the Dodgers, the Rockies, and Pittsburgh. Not easy schedule, but a lot of those teams don't want to face St. Louis right now. One of the hottest teams in all of baseball. Jack Flaherty, he's on the mound tonight. Cardinals pushed him back a day to face these Brewers. The Brewers, the Cardinals. Baseball coming up. Brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. The Brew Crew, they are here. They've got some thumpers in that lineup. Can the Cardinal pitching shut them down? Wild times in the Central. We're about to find out. Should be a fun weekend of baseball. One of the great baseball towns in America, St. Louis. 85 degrees, along with Brad Thompson, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. It is Hall of Fame weekend here in St. Louis. The big crowd expected tonight. BP, brighter picture. And a look at the National League wild card standings. If it ended right now, Philly and Milwaukee, they're in. The Cardinals just a game and a half back of Milwaukee. And then you have Colorado and LA. Yadier Molina, 25 straight games starting, extending his Major League Baseball record for consecutive starts by a catcher age 35 or older. That's amazing.
It is amazing. You know the rigors that position takes. You know the beating that Yadier Molina takes behind the plate day in and day out. But he'll be the first one to tell you this is what he prepares for. This is what he trains for. He wants to be back there, and this ball club is better anytime that he is.
On the mound tonight, Jack Flaherty, start number 20. A record of 6-6. We mentioned in the open the Cardinals have pushed him back by a day. Went with Weaver last night. And Flaherty goes this evening. Well,
Jack Flaherty has had a tremendous amount of success versus the Milwaukee Brewers this year, and you see the arsenal there. He loves his fastball. Why shouldn't he? Spots it up very well, gets inside on everybody. His slider is arguably one of the best in baseball. Good to both righties and lefties. He'll mix in the curveball and the change as well. He is wise beyond his years on the mound, Dan.
Milwaukee 32-31. With Craig Counsell at the helm on the road this year. They've got a loaded lineup. Yelich, Kane, the former Royal Moustakas, Jesus Aguilar, then Travis Shaw. He's at second base. Jonathan Scope, they picked him up from Baltimore. He's at short. Eric Thames, Eric Kratz, and the pitcher, Freddie Peralta. A lot of thump in that lineup. There's a look at Christian Yelich. Leads the National League, batting .358 since the All-Star break. Last time we saw them, Eric Thames is at the top, and he drops down to the 7th spot in the order after they were busy at the trade deadline.
Well, there is a lot of danger all the way throughout that lineup, but because of that danger, you look at the infield, defense could be a little bit sketchy for them. You got a lot of guys that don't have a ton of range, but you know this, with these guys, you make mistakes, they can make you pay for them.
The Cardinal defense around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, Martinez in the outfield. Jerko, DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter along the infield, and Yadier Molina yet again behind home plate. Yelich overall this season batting .309, the 18 home runs, and he's driven in 60. First pitch is popped foul and out of play. Think about the bullpens being a storyline this weekend with all the left-handed bats Milwaukee has and good hitters. Yelich, Moustakas, Shaw, and Thames. Lefties out of the Cardinal bullpen. That could be a big factor this weekend.
It certainly could. There will be some big-time tests. Very nice breaking ball right there. And it seems like these two bullpens have really flipped roles throughout the season. The Cardinals bullpen, we know the struggles they had early on. They've been great here recently. And the Brewers bullpen has had its issues here in the recent couple of weeks. If we get into a battle of the bullpen, you kind of got to like where the Cardinals are.
And the pitch inside. Only National League team with a worse second half bullpen ERA than the Brewers, the Marlins. Brewers 5.42, and they were third in the National League in ERA in the bullpen before the break. And we know about the Cardinals. It has been transformed, and it's paid dividends.
Oh, it has for sure. And one of the problems with the bullpen, first of all, when you're not sure who's closing games for you. For the Brewers right now, Knebel's had his struggles here recently. Jeffress has picked up some of this slack. But the starters aren't going deep, so it makes it very difficult to have a lot of success in that pen when they're getting overworked.
On a hop, DeYoung to first. Little jam shot. Ball that had some English on it, and Paul DeYoung makes the play.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about Jack Flaherty and his fastball, his slider. One of the things he does the best is just get in your kitchen, whether it be with the fastball, with the cutter. He knows how to pitch inside. For a lot of young guys, that's a difficult thing to be able to do. He seems to have that handled really well.
Now Lorenzo Cain. 301 the average, 9 home runs, and he has driven in 31. Outfield deep. And there's strike one. And a couple of former Royals and good players in their lineup. That includes Lorenzo Cain, signed a 5-year deal in the offseason. Valdosta, Georgia. 2-time All-Star. And back where it all began for him. Originally a member of the Milwaukee Brewer organization.
Lorenzo Cain has been money well spent for this ball club. He's doing it average-wise. Currently, he's got a career-high on-base percentage. He's a phenomenal defender, runs the base as well. I mean, he's got the total package, and that's what you want when you go out there. I mean, and it's easier to sign a player to a deal like that when you already know him. You know all the ins and outs about him. You know the numbers, you know the game, but all those things have translated very well this season.
And the 2-1 is a base hit into right field. The Cardinals currently a National League best 19-10 since Mike Schilt took over as manager back on July 15th. First time that you and I have been together for about a couple of months. Your impressions of Mike?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that Mike, his entire staff, and we know that there's been a big changeover roster-wise. They've been fun to watch. They've been entertaining. They look like they're playing with even more of a purpose. And I think that Mike has done a great job of putting guys in a position to succeed. They're thriving. And when you win games, I mean, winning cures all. And they've been doing a lot of that here recently.
Moustakas with a fly ball into right field. There's Jose Martinez with the catch. And the batter is Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar added in with the fan vote for the All-Star game. 280 the average, 29 home runs, and he's driven in 87. This sets up to be a fun weekend. It's got a September type feel to it.
It really does. And the way that the Cardinals are playing right now, you've got to be energized. I mean, there's a different vibe around the ballpark. We know the standings right now. The Cardinals just a game and a half back here of the wild card. And there is a lot on the line. There will be. The schedule gets tough for the Cardinals, but the way that they're playing, I mean, they've set themselves up so well.
So 2 outs and the runner at first. Jesus Aguilar, an RBI every 3.99 plate appearances. And that's the highest in all of baseball. He began the season on the bench.
Well, he is a monster. He can punish a fastball. You make a mistake, I mean, you really have to execute with a guy like him. The slider, though, that Flaherty has is a good pitch against it.
There's a great jump and an easy stolen base. Milwaukee third in Major League Baseball in stolen bases, now at 93 as a team.
Well, that one's stolen right there off of Flaherty. You see this jump here. He gets the one look and just takes off. Absolutely nothing Yadier Molina can do.
So a runner in scoring position and the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. National League RBI leaders. Aguilar third behind Baez, Suarez, and then Jesus Aguilar. The 2-0 pitch, Flaherty to the slugger of the Brewers. Slider. So first base open. You got a guy that's having a career year. Not sure that he would get a pitch to hit.
You're going to make him hit your pitch still. You're just not going to give in to him. You can get to Travis Shaw potentially next. Not that he's an easy customer, but you're not laying something in here for Aguilar to hurt. It is funny. I mean, you look at this Brewers lineup and there's not much breathing room until you get to about 8 and the pitcher comes up. I mean, you have to really execute. Got to be on your game, and we know how tight these ball games can be down a stretch when you're fighting for a playoff spot. Each pitch means so much.
And he walked him. Runners at first and second, and the batter is Travis Shaw. And Shaw has been primarily playing second base. Was their everyday third baseman, but then they added Scope. They added Moustakas, and Shaw shifted over to second base. We've watched him the last couple of years. He's a good player.
He really is, and I think that proves a lot the versatility that he's had. I mean, he was very good over at third base. He's bounced around to second. May not be his best position, but if you're Craig Counsell and the Brewers, you're trying to outslug people. You need to put your best lineup out there. It might hurt you defensively every once in a while, but if you get what you expect offensively, it's a net benefit.
I don't know about you. I was a bit surprised as they added all this stuff to their lineup and did not address what I thought was a need in starting pitching.
Well, that was their biggest need. I mean, when you look at them, they could use an ace. They could use that guy that if you're in that in the playoffs or it's a wild card game, the guy you hand over the ball to and say, here you go, this game is yours. But the asking price for those guys are quite high, and you always have to weigh as an organization, is it worth it? Do I go make this move right now knowing it could sacrifice some of our future? And it looks like the Brewers said no, we'll add to an area that we have already had some success. We'll add to our offense and beat people that way.
And the 0-2 struck him out. First strikeout of the night for Jack Flaherty. Strikes out Shaw. Milwaukee strands a pair. Coming up, Matt Carpenter, Yadier Molina, and Jose Martinez. No score. riding now a 33-game on-base streak. Longest streak in Cardinals history since Matt Holliday had 45 straight a couple of years ago. And even though he's hitless in his last 3 games, he's such a high on-base percentage player. Draws a lot of walks and extends that on-base streak. Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez, followed by Ozuna, DeYoung, and Jerko. Then Wong, Bader, and the pitcher Jack Flaherty batting 9th. And Freddie Peralta is on the mound for Milwaukee.
Yeah, Freddie Peralta has got very good stuff. He uses his fastball quite a bit, but he can be erratic, and you can make him work. He'll throw tons of fastballs, and the Cardinals should be able to jump on some.
And the first pitch taken outside. His first 7 starts, he was 4-1. As you get a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal, his last 4 starts, 1-2 with an ERA above 8.
Yeah, he struggled mightily his last time out against the Braves, and that's what happens when you fall behind. When you fall behind, you have to go back in there, and we've seen some great stuff out of Peralta already this year. His major league debut, he struck out 13. I mean, he has that in him, and when he can throw his breaking ball for a strike, watch out. But when he can't, that's when he runs into some troubles.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Carpenter with a high fly ball out to deep right field. And a collision, and the catch is made. Colliding Kane and Thames, and both are down. The catch made by Thames on the track in right center. You run into Eric Thames, you probably more times than not, you aren't going to win that battle.
I wasn't expecting seeing any smiles off this one. Carpenter gets a fastball that he can drive, gets it in the gap. Both these guys get a very good jump on it, and they are very fortunate to come out of that collision okay.
The Thames hit Kane and then the wall. Scary moment for the Brewers, but what a play by Thames in right field.
It really was a great concentration to make that play. Sometimes you hear the footsteps and it takes you away from that. You see Thames there. He's okay. We'll have to check on the wall later. he is a big boy.
He put a dent in the wall.
He might.
The fans here in St. Louis applaud the effort of both Kane and Thames. Well done. The batter will be Yadier Molina. And Yadi giving both players a chance to catch their breath. Now digs in. One out and nobody on. The first pitch to Molina. Take it for a ball down and in. Talked about the consecutive starts for Yadier Molina. He's missed 1 game. 1 since the All-Star break, and that was game 2 of the doubleheader against Chicago.
It's incredible. I mean, it really is. He wants to be in there all the time. He's great all the time. And if you're Mike Schill, what do? If Yadier Molina tells you he wants to play and he keeps playing at this level, the guy's going to play.
And Mike Schill has had Carpenter and Molina hit first and second in this lineup 29 of the 30 games since he took over. And it seems to have had a boost for both guys. Now Carpenter was getting hot, but Molina has done a nice job in this spot in the lineup.
He really has, and even further, I think we've seen more consistency in this lineup, and just overall as a team, that's what this team needed, was some sort of consistency. They haven't been able to put a run together, but it seems like Mike Schultz has been putting up the lineup construction, not always the same way, but you have the same cast of characters near the top, and I think we're seeing it pay dividends.
And a one-out walk. Happy first birthday to Wyatt Reedy at the ballpark for his first Cardinals game. Happy birthday, Wyatt. Dad's recording this, so about 30 years. Remember that Dan and Brad gave you a birthday shout out.
For sure. Do you want to tell them when our birthday is, just in case?
When's yours?
It's in January.
January. Can't do it. Yeah.
Never mind.
I'll do it for you, though. I'll show up at your house and Be happy to wish you a happy birthday. Hey,
Very
Brad.
nice.
Here's Jose Martinez. And a strike. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Corey Blazer at first. Ramon De Jesus at second. Stu Sherwater is down at third. And the 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, kept in front by Eric Kratz. Jose Martinez with runners on, batting .339, 10th best in Major League Baseball.
I've been incredibly impressed throughout the year. I mean, he was your best hitter, and then the Cardinals go towards a defensive-oriented, more of a look. I mean, we're going to put your defenders out there. He gets less playing time, and then when he gets the opportunity again, what does he do? He just crushes the baseball. His approach is so good. He's such a great teammate. You never hear anything about I out of Jose Martinez. When he gets a chance, he does great things, and his bat has kept him in the lineup.
Mike Schild has been asked time and again about Martinez and playing the outfield, and we were talking about it the other day. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Jose Martinez. Takes it the other way and a base hit. Thames is playing deep, and Yachty is on his way to third, and that'll be a double for Jose Martinez. Just to finish the thought, as Mike and I conversed in his office, he said, well, I get some of these questions. It's not like Jose Martinez hasn't played the outfield. He's done it for 10 years in pro ball.
He's seen it.
Yeah.
He's had some reps. He certainly had some reps doing this recently, taking something the other way. He's one of the best. Him and Yachty are Molina on this team. Hitting the ball where it is pitched. This thing is away. He shoots it that way. Yachty gets a good jump. And more salsa for everybody.
Love Jim Hayes' interview with Matt Carpenter in the kitchen.
It was really good.
Of the clubhouse, and sitting down and having some salsa with Matt Carpenter. Runners at second and third, and here's Marcell Ozuna. And he looks at a strike. Cardinals a chance to grab an early lead here in the home half of the first. Outfield is deep and straight away. I don't know about you, but I can't remember a right fielder this early in a game playing that deep here at Busch Stadium with a right-handed batter. That was both with Martinez, Molina, and now Ozuna. Thames is really deep and right.
He really is. And you know, if Marcell shoots a single that way, Martinez is scoring from second base. Must be thinking he's going to get one up in the air and deep, which I would like to see, actually. Now a little bit further maybe than where he's standing currently.
Makes you wonder how comfortable he is in right field. Generally, guys, if they're playing that deep, aren't real comfortable. That's up the middle. Base hit. One run is in. Here comes Martinez. 2-0 St. Louis here in the bottom of the first.
Well, Marcell Ozuna gets one down the middle and takes it right back up the middle. Not trying to do too much right there. Put something in play and make something happen. You see Jose Oquendo sending Martinez the whole way. Got plenty of time. And the Cardinals putting some pressure on the young starter Freddie Peralta, who once again got roughed up in his last outing. He's having a little trouble early on in this one.
Here's Paul DeJong. They've got a shift on for DeJong on the left side of the infield. All kinds of room on the right side. And an 0-1 pitch. 0-2. So the last 4 starts. A lot of walks and the high ERA.
It's hard to succeed when you're giving up the free passes, when you're falling behind. Now, the organization is very high on Peralta. He's incredibly young. He's got good stuff. He's still learning. But it's hard to learn like that when you're putting yourself in trouble. I mean, this is a team that's in the thick of things. This is a team that has playoff aspirations and currently in a playoff spot. They need a bit more from all of their starters to take a little pressure off that bullpen.
0-2 the count on Paul DeJong. A short lead at first by Ozuna. 1-2. The energy here at the ballpark, this homestand has been different than at any point this year. Fans are engaged. The product has been entertaining. The club has been winning. It's got a neat feel to it.
Yeah, it does, and it should. I mean, that's how it should be around the ballpark. This team is doing everything that you could want. They're playing good baseball. They're scoring runs. The pitching's been great. They're winning series, and that's what you expected all year. This team had underperformed all year. They've had injuries. They've had plenty of them. They've had ineffectiveness, but they're finally starting to play that type of baseball that I think everybody expected.
10 balls, 10 strikes so far for Peralta, and a strikeout of DeJong, his first of the night. There's 2 away. The Brewers defensively, their alignment around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Yelich, Kane, and Thames in the outfield. Moustakas, Scope, Shaw, Aguilar along the infield. Eric Kratz is behind the plate. There's Jed Jerko. Greg Garcia started last night at third. You know, we've also seen that Mike Schilt has used the running game an awful lot, hit and runs, and he's doing it even when the club is trailing, which a lot of teams and managers will not do.
Yeah, just being aggressive, but yet smart aggressive. That's what he keeps leaning on, and he's put his team in a lot of good positions. It's not always about stealing a bag. Maybe trying to stay away from a double play. Maybe you're just trying to go first to third, but this aggressive nature has paid off. It's paid off a ton for this ball club.
Mark Budaska, George Greer, some of the at-bats have been better, we've seen, and the strikeouts really have cut down. And the 1-1 lifted in the air. Right field, Eric Thames, and the catch. That one a little bit easier than his first. Ozuna drives in 2. It started with Martinez, also the walk, and then Marcel delivered. 2-0 after 1. To some of the highest levels. That included your visit with Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, Matt has not only made himself an MVP candidate, he's also become the salsa king of St. Louis. Matt was kind enough to bring us into the players' food room in the clubhouse, and we found some interesting things out about his salsa. When Matt was hit by that pitch and tested his hand by opening a jar of salsa, Tyler O'Neill did not loosen the lid for him. That was just a rumor. Yes, every player on the team has had the magic salsa, though not all of them eat it every day. Yes, there may be talks going on to take Carp's magic salsa public, though as Matt put it, nothing is concrete yet. And you can get one of those. It's got to be the salsa t-shirts at freshbrewtees.com. Part of the proceeds go to Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. A great cause, Dan.
Absolutely. And Jimmy, I saw you trying to, in that feature, which was so well done and a high level of journalism, as we've talked about, but you were running out of the kitchen and you grabbed bananas.
Well, I had thought that Carp and I had, gotten to a good place where I was going to stay and maybe make some lunch, make a sandwich, and he told me to get out, so I grabbed some food on the way out, Danny.
Nice work, Jimmy. Jerko, nice play. Gets Jonathan scoped by his step. Jerko's made some really good plays in this homestand.
Well, you see Jerko jumping on this one right away, want to catch it on this big hop right here. And he turned himself into a very good third baseman. Got a lot of the reps there last year. This year he's had to bounce around quite a bit. Didn't get as much playing time early on, maybe as he'd have liked, many as at-bats. But once, just another guy, whenever he's in there, he plays a solid third base for you. This is a good matchup tonight with a guy that throws a lot of fastballs. Does everything you could want.
Eric Thames at the plate after his collision in right center with Lorenzo Cain. Both players very lucky that someone was not seriously hurt.
I'm hard pressed to find another big leaguer that looks like that. Running into that guy is probably not much fun. Now, it looked like Cain kind of grazed him a little bit, hit the wall, but yes, very fortunate right there. First play of the game, both of them running hard. I mean, this ball was driven in the gap, that they were both okay.
And a pitch way outside. There's Tyler O'Neill.
Never mind, found him.
Yeah, that's pretty strong dude right there. There's a strike. And for those that don't know, his father was Mr. Canada at one point.
They say bloodlines mean something.
It's a strong dude.
Find that to be true.
And a swing and a miss. Turn to Brad Thompson's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, key number one for the Cardinals, get back to the basics. Yesterday in the game, they had 3 errors that led to 3 unearned runs. That has not been this ball club's MO here recently. They've played clean baseball, and they've been doing the little things. Get back to that. And offensively, hunt fastballs. That's exactly what Peralta is throwing. He throws a lot of them. The Cardinals will find themselves in a lot of advantageous positions. He falls behind a lot. He throws a lot of heaters, and the Cardinals can hit those.
Already 2 strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. That's now 24 against Milwaukee this year. That's tied for most by any pitcher against the Brewers. And Jack has done that in 13 2/3. Here's the 0-1. And a ground ball. Finds a hole. And a base hit into left field. Eric Kratz is aboard with a 2-out single.
Now you see him go with the slider here. It is down, but it stays middle. Just enough for Kratz to get the barrel on this thing and find a hole. Gets the ground ball. That thing's a few feet either way. It's an out.
And the batter is Peralta, looking for his first hit. Cardinals very well could have won last night. You mentioned the errors. 3 of them. They had only made 5 errors in the entire month before last night. There's a ground ball hit to second. Wong, a flip to DeYoung. Milwaukee strands a runner. Wong, Bader, Flaherty coming up. 2-0. It's brought to you by Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University Physicians, national leaders in medicine. And by Toyota, let's go places. If you can't catch a game on television, you can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Cardinals. Jack Flaherty visiting with Mike Maddox between innings. What are those conversations like? You had those with Dave Duncan many times.
Well, I think that you're always teaching, even with a guy that's had as much success early on in his career, and they're talking about the one look probably to Kane, that you just can't give the one look up there. You've got an aggressive base runner there. You've got to be able to vary your looks. And there are times where you stay away from the pitcher, you let him do his thing, but there are other times where you have to remind him of certain things because that stolen base could have easily led to a run. Had a base hit happen, you want to make sure you're continually doing the little things, and you're always coaching and you're always learning, and it's good to have those conversations.
And a ball outside to Colton Wong. 2 balls and 1 strike. Average at 237 at the start of play tonight. Highest point it's been this year for Colton Wong. Remember, he started the year 1 for 19.
Yeah, Colton Wong finally starting to look comfortable at the plate. He always looks comfortable in the field. He makes web gems almost every night, it seems like. But he's starting to get that rhythm at the plate. And we saw it last year. We saw a guy that could hit for average. He's got power. It's not even sneaky power. He's got good power, but he doesn't need to try to hit home runs. They could be a product of a good swing and a good approach, and that's what we've seen out of Colton Wong here recently.
He's had 7 hits in his last 4 games. And the 3-2 pitch to Wong. He walked him, leadoff walk. Enhance your next game day experience. MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. This is the combination here that you can have a little fun with Wong at first, his speed, and Bader at the plate.
Yes, you can. I mean, you can try to swipe the bag. Bader has been handling the bat very well. You could try to hit and run him. You can move, but you got to like these guys back to back, setting the table for you.
Bader received the Heart and Hustle Award for the St. Louis Cardinals before tonight's game. Our colleague Al Raboski down there to present that, along with a member from the Players Association, John Mozeliak, Michael Gersh, all here in attendance. There's Hungo. And that award, and then passed it over to Harrison Bader. Up and in. You know, the Cardinals have been very aggressive under Mike Schilt. He'll be the first to tell you they're not just going to run wild. They've got tells on specific pitchers. Depends on the speed, the time that they're getting that night from the pitcher to the catcher, who's at the plate. But it has been a different brand of baseball. Wong was leaning towards second base.
It's all about picking your spots, just finding the right time to do something, whether it be to swipe that bag or to hit and run. You got to have your guys confident in doing so. And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing guys want to do that, want to take that jump, want to take the extra back.
And Wong back in safely. He's getting a huge secondary lead. He's about a third of the way to second base.
Well, he knows he can get back there, takes off for a second, slows up. Pratt's not going to be able to get him.
Now it's 2-0. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do here. Fouled back. Harrison Bader has picked it up here in the month of August. It coincides with him playing every day. 367, 3 home runs, 8 runs batted in, and he scored 13 runs. And don't forget about the defense.
It reminds you a lot of last year when Tommy Pham was called up.
That'll be a balk as Peralta looked to get his spikes caught, and so that's a balk, and Wong winds up at second base. They're going to make sure he's not hurt.
Well, you might want to check. You never know when you catch a spike. He was trying to do a quick move right there and looked like he just slipped right off of the rubber. Sometimes you can catch a spike. Other times you can step on a rubber and it's almost icy, the feel of it. And it looks like that's what he got right there. Talk about the Cardinals being aggressive. That was one way to do it.
Well, in all seriousness, you know, Wong is a concern if you're a pitcher. Yeah, you're putting pressure on him and he's thinking about throwing over. I think you're exactly right. He may have slipped off the rubber and then the spikes catch the dirt.
Yeah, and maybe that's a move he doesn't use very often. And once again, to your point, you have a guy over at first base that you know can get a good jump. He's already proven that he's not afraid to swipe a bag. So you want to try a different pickoff. You want to try the quick one straight from getting your sign. And if you don't have your footwork perfect, you might catch a spike or you might slide off.
First major league balk. He had 1 in the minor leagues. And now it's 2 balls and a strike. Colton Wong, your runner at second base. Cardinals are ready with an early lead of 2-0. Ozuna drove in 2 with a single back in the first. 3-1 on Bader. Jack Flaherty on deck. Full count on Bader. Big crowd, by the way, on this Friday night as we get ready for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies tomorrow. All the giveaways throughout this weekend beginning tonight. The BP pullover. The 3-2 pitch. He was right on it.
Freddie Peralta has thrown a lot of pitches so far in this game. He's thrown 34 so far, 17 for strikes, and 36, I'm sorry, so far. And it's about 50-50 at this point. He doesn't look comfortable currently, and that's kind of been a problem for him
the last couple of games is just getting in that rhythm, getting in that groove. And the Cardinals did a good job early on in this one, putting the pressure on him, putting him against the ropes right off the bat.
It's back-to-back walks and 3 issued already by Peralta. So how do the Cardinals want to play it here with Jack Flaherty? Runners at first and second, nobody out.
I think you might want to lay one down here and get it back. Even you lay the bunt down. You do open up first base if everything goes well for Matt Carpenter. He'll get pitched tough, but you have so much faith in your lineup. Yadier Molina batting second. I would take that anytime.
Sure. 19 balls, 18 strikes. And the corners are in. We've seen the Cardinals show bunt and then let pitchers swing away in these spots. We'll see. Bunting. Peralta to third and out. Quickly getting back to the bag was Moustakas. I think Wong saying wasn't sure if he was on the bag or if he felt he beat him to that force play at the bag. It's Pop Warner on the phone with the Cardinals video department. They're taking a look at it.
Well, Peralta does a very good job of jumping on this one right away.
He might be safe.
Man, this is very close.
If he's not on the bag for the force play, he may have avoided the tag. Is the foot on the bag? And so Cardinals will not challenge. Take another look at it here. It's the left foot of Moustakas, because clearly from the tag he didn't get him.
Kind of wonder why he was going for that in the first place. Kind of found himself off the bag a little bit. But an athletic play right there by Peralta.
And a ball to Matt Carpenter. Fly to deep right, first time up. And that was the collision between Kane and Thames. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Carpenter. Shift on the right side. 2-0. This is back in the first inning. Just joined us. Carpenter with a deep fly and then a nasty collision. Kane and Thames. And watch Thames. He goes into the wall. And what an opportunity now here for the Cardinals. Carpenter ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Matt is sitting on 33 home runs. A high fly ball into center field. Kane the catch. Bader tagging up from second to third. Here's Yadier Molina, who walked and scored back in the first inning.
Dan, this is another area the Cardinals have been very successful recently here in the last month is 2-out hits. They have gotten a lot of them. They've come in bunches. It seems like it's been contagious, and that's where you win a lot of games. You get that opportunity. You feel like a pitcher oftentimes with 2 outs feels like he can breathe a little bit until you get that big hit.
Now time is called. And we're set to go. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Then Peralta steps off. Cardinals will finish up the homestand Sunday, then head out to LA and Colorado. And when they return, The Cardinals will have 31 games remaining on the schedule, 19 of which will be right here at Busch Stadium. And they're playing much better here at home, too.
They are playing a lot better here. We've seen the dramatic wins. We've seen a lot of good things here, and it has shifted here recently. This was a place where they were playing around 500 baseball. That's not the case right now. They're turning this into the home field advantage that it should be. And that's what we want. We want meaningful baseball down the stretch. You're going to get a lot of that. The Cardinals have worked hard to get back into this position. There's a lot of work left, but you like what they've the position they put themselves in.
And the 1-1 is hit sharply into center, and Kane makes the catch. Coming up, the top of the lineup, and that means Christian Yelich. 2-0. $30,000 fans 21 and over, the 8th Stein in the championship series, highlighting the Cardinals' 1982 World Series championship against the Brewers. Get your tickets Friday, August 31st, cardinals.com/promotions. Our Kia drive to success. Jack Flaherty, 2 starts this season against Milwaukee in big numbers. Struck out 13 batters, took a no-hitter into the 7th inning back on June 22nd, and the Cardinals actually lost that game 2-1. That was one of the heartbreakers this year. Jesus Aguilar broke up the no-no, had the game-tying homer, and then a walk-off hit 2 innings later. It's Pride Night here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Also a kickoff to our Hall of Fame weekend. Vince Coleman, Ray Langford, and Harry Brackeen will be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
It's always an exciting time in St. Louis, and you know how much it means to each and every one of the guys to get an opportunity to put on that red jacket. I know that Vince and Ray are very excited, as are the family of Brackeen. I mean, it's just a special moment, and when you see Ballpark Village fill up for that, to honor the greats that have worn this uniform, it really is a special thing.
There's Christian Yelich, grounded out first time up. It is open to the public, 3 o'clock tomorrow. 10 a.m. Willie McGee will be signing autographs at the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. And there's all kinds of things happening around the ballpark all day long. There's the 0-1 pitch. Brian Finch does a remarkable job in connecting the Hall of Famers and having them come back. And many of baseball's Hall of Famers that are connected with the Cardinals will be in attendance as well. Tony La Russa, Whitey Herzog, Bob Gibson, the great Lou Brock, Ozzie. Cardinal Hall of Famers Chris Carpenter will be there. Always fun. It's a vibrant, loud crowd too. It's really fun.
You think about it, you get the opportunity to relive memories. It's like you're there again when you get a chance to see those guys when they're talking about their careers. You remember the moments, and we're so fortunate here to have so many, all the names that you just rattled off, the decades of great baseball.
That's whacked into right center. Yelich on his way to second base. Bader gets it quickly back in, and a leadoff double to start play here in the top of the third. It's now 39 hits since the All-Star break, most in all of Major League Baseball. So he's gotten hot.
Well, you see Flaherty here throws a breaking ball that just stayed up. He tried to climb the ladder beforehand. He didn't bite on it, and Yelich just catches this one out in front of him. You're not going to be able to get away with that. The way he's seeing the ball, you're going to have to bury that slider down in the zone. We've seen Jack Flaherty do that so often, but he's hitting mistakes right now.
Lorenzo Cain had a single to right first time up. It's always the game within the game, isn't it? The pitcher making an adjustment second time through a lineup, and on the other side, the batters.
Yeah, it certainly makes that game within a game a little bit easier if you have Yadier Molina behind the plate. He remembers exactly how you set somebody up the last time. As a pitcher, you remember it too, but you lean on him back there. By the way, I think that's a great place to get Lorenzo Cain out right now, is inside. You throw that fastball in, doesn't have to be 97, 98 mile an hour to get in there. He likes to go the other way. We saw it early on. I think you can tie him up inside. You can also get him aware of inside and then use that breaking ball down and away.
Cain hitting .334 with runners in scoring position. Tops for the Brewers this season. Again inside.
Tell you what, Lorenzo Cain does a lot of things very well. You see all the numbers that he's put up, but defensively, he's great. He can steal a bag. We saw him earlier off of Jack Flaherty's steal. He knew the tendency there and just jumped on it. He's a student of the game.
Lorenzo Cain, his wins above replacement WAR is 4.6, most on Milwaukee. To put it in perspective, Carpenter is 4.5. So that's the kind of year Cain has had.
Yeah, and it tells you when you look at the offensive numbers, you might not it might not make sense. It just tells you how great he is defensively and as a base runner, how those numbers stack up.
Inside corner again, 2-2. Tomorrow, Miles Michaelis against the lefty Wade Miley. John Gant and Jolice Chassin on Sunday. The 2-2 pitch by Flaherty. Ground ball taken there by Wong. Quickly to first to get the out. Yelich advancing to third on the play. Not sure there is a second baseman going to his right that has the kind of range that Wong does. And look there, he's even going back to his position.
Yeah, well, you know that Lorenzo Cain can run quite a bit. He just gets a good jump on this. Colton's got a great arm, great athleticism right there. And that's a way tougher play than he made it look. He made that look very routine, but with a fast runner, that's a difficult one.
Here's Moustakas, 22 home runs this year. And the first pitch is strike. That's 22 combined with Kansas City and Milwaukee. And so far with the Brewers, a couple of dingers, and he's driven in 10.
He has been a good fit for them so far. Now defensively, they've had to mix up a few things. As we said, Shaw has moved over. They made the trade to bring over Jonathan Scope, and he has moved over. So defensively, especially up the middle, they have got their questions. But there is no question that this offense, I mean, 1 through 8,
unforgiving.
Yeah, they can really get you. It's important to execute. That's why the Cardinals found it important here. Jack Flaherty had so much success against this team throughout the year. You give him the extra day, allow him to pitch in this game, and hope that success continues.
1 ball and 1 strike on Moustakas. Runner at third. Doesn't get the call, low and away. Moustakas was a free agent and one of the guys that was looking for a bigger deal, long-term, more money. Didn't happen. Re-signed with Kansas City. He had actually turned down the qualifying offer from the Royals and then signed for less money.
To me, it was one of the more confusing off seasons all around that I can imagine and I can remember. But his case in general, he is a heck of a lot better player than the contract that he was able to sign. Now, I know he has a $15 million mutual option at the end of this year, but I'm sure that it was frustrating for him. But all he did was go right back to the drawing board and say, hey, look, it is what it is. I'm playing baseball, and hopefully I'll be able to cash in next time.
Draws the walk. Molina tried to catch Yelich down at third. Kubota power stats. National League home run leaders. Carpenter at the top, and Aguilar is in the top 4. He's got 29. And now he digs in with runners at first and third. He's grounded into 10 double plays this season, second most on their roster. See right now in this inning, Flaherty's missing location.
He is. You see Yachty was set up inside there. He misses outside off the plate, just trying to do a little bit too much. It's a moment like this, kind of got to take a little breather, step back, and just execute a pitch. You don't have to throw it through him, just throw it right to your spot.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Jesus Aguilar. Good slider, got him to chase, evens it up at 1-1.
Well, he missed very bad with the fastball before that, but was able to come back with the breaking ball here off the plate. Looks like a strike coming in the whole time. Aguilar is going to be aggressive in a hitter's count, and you get him fishing right there. That's another thing that Flaherty's been great at. Now, that one was off the plate, but he can throw that breaking ball for a strike at any time. I mean, he's got such good feel for his slider. Righties, lefties, doesn't matter the count.
1-2. Aguilar thought it was a ball and having words with the home plate umpire. My guess is that he thought maybe it was high, but it looked to be right over the middle of the plate. The 1-2 put in play and pulled foul. He's still having words with the home plate umpire.
Well, if you're Jack Flaherty and Yadier Molina right now, you might as well catch him while he's frustrated. He already chased one of your sliders off the plate. You've set him up now with the fastball very well. Maybe go right back to that right here and get the swing and miss.
He's had 55 runs batted in with 2 strikes, most in baseball by far. The next closest, Arenado at 34. A 2-strike delivery here. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. On its way. Full count. It's a big pitch early on in this game right here.
It's a huge pitch, and we were just talking about how good Flaherty's slider is. Now, he's been battling a little bit with himself this inning. I really believe, though, 3-2 here, he can go to that slider and get him right here.
Here it comes. Just got a piece. Setting up down and away. The 3-2 Pulled. Could be 2. Out at second. And out at first. It's a double play. DeYoung. Wong. Carpenter. And frustration for Jesus Aguilar. Bam! 2-0 Cardinals. Aguilar chased it, rolled over it, and the Cardinals get the double play. Been screaming to himself. Some of that directed, I think, to the home plate umpire, but he's not been happy one bit. Hernan Perez takes over in right field for Eric Thames, and for those that just joined us, a nasty collision with Kane and Thames in the first inning, so now he's been lifted.
Well, we were amazed that the two of them were able to get away from that one unscathed. Obviously not the case here with Perez coming into play right. I mean, that was a very, very big collision early on. Thames gets the brunt of Kane. Kane hits him with the elbow in the back, plus he hits the wall. Shaken up after the play, and obviously enough to come out of this one.
1 ball and 1 strike on Jose Martinez. Doubled into right field. Scored a run back in the first on a single from Marcell Ozuna to make it 2-0 Cardinals. The 1-1. Seems like Peralta's been pitching behind for the better part of this game.
He has, for sure, and it already has to a certain extent bit him. His pitch count is up very high. He's already facing a 2-0 deficit, but it could be a lot worse, and it could snowball for him. Hopefully for the Cardinals it does if he keeps falling behind.
Mentioned that the Cardinals have an outstanding record here to start this month. As you get a look at the splits of the balls and strikes from Peralta. Cardinals won 3 of 4. Just completed series with the Nats. Saw their 8-game winning streak snapped last night. The 2-2 pulled foul. You think about the losses the Cardinals have had in this month. They've had only 3. They're 12-3 in August. Back on August 3rd, they lost 7-6, tying run at first in the ninth. August 6th at Miami, 2-1, tying run at third in the ninth. And then last night, tying run at second in the ninth, a 5-4 loss. So they've been in every game.
Yeah, you don't like to lose games. I mean, we all know that.
That's hit to short. This is Scope who makes the play.
But you want to be in it. You want to know that you have an opportunity to win a ball game. You want to battle. You don't ever want to be out of it. And that's one thing this Cardinals team has not been for a while, is out of ball games. They seem relentless in their approach, and they're going to keep battling.
Mike Matheny won 6 series during his final 72 days as manager. Mike Schilt has won 6 series in his first 32 days. No manager in Cardinals franchise history has had a better record than Mike Shildt, 19-9 after their first 28 games. Ozuna with a high fly ball that'll carry to Perez. And that's out number 2. 2018 Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class tomorrow. And it's presented by Edward Jones. Again, 3 o'clock. It's open to the public. Mike Shildt, attention to detail, aggressive in how he managed many of the players that are currently on this roster in the minor leagues. And his communication, I mean, that's been talked about a lot. The way he communicates not only with the players but his coaches. Jose Oquendo in today's local paper column written by Ben Fredrickson gave a ringing endorsement for Mike Shildt, not only to be here this year but beyond.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a baseball reference, that man right there would be a good one. If he believes in what you're doing and the way that you're going about things, you got to love that. Jose Oquendo, an incredible teacher, an incredible coach, and Mike Shildt, as you mentioned, I mean, he seems to, he's got the player's ear. And I believe that relationship that he had with a lot of the guys that you mentioned throughout the minor leagues, and obviously being a coach on this staff, he just knows the inner workings. He knows his guys very well. And that communication, it's very important. And you've got a clubhouse full of young guys. You've also got some veterans. They've been able to blend it very well.
The 2-1 pitch. It's sharply to third. Moustakas makes the play. The Cardinals go in order. Tom Verducci coming up. He'll have the call tomorrow. We'll visit with him. Doubleheader tomorrow on FS1. First, the Orioles take on the Indians. Then the Cardinals and Brewers at 6. You can see that on FS1. Game analyst will be Tom Verducci, and he joins us here in the booth. Always good to see him.
That's always good to be here.
Did you think when you were scheduled for this game that the Cardinals would be back in contention?
No, I'll be honest with you. They right now look like the hottest team in baseball. Everything seems to be going well for them. The young pitchers coming through. But, yeah, I didn't see this coming. I really didn't.
What do you think's been the biggest point of their turnaround?
Well, for me, changing the bullpen on the fly has had a lot to do with it. Offensively, they've been on point. And, you know, some of the moves that Mike Shildt has made, Yadi Molina in number 2 hole, I would have never thought that would work. Yeah. That's worked out. He's been very aggressive with his pitching maneuvers.
Yeah, he's willing to go to that bullpen quickly.
Exactly. The Cardinals under Shildt, and it's been, what, almost less than 30 games, have won 4 games when the starter's gone less than 5. before that, they won 2 the whole year. So it's paid off being aggressive.
Here's a 2-1 pitch on a hop to Wong, knocks it down, still with time, and he gets him by a step. What are your impressions of Mike Schilt?
Really impressed with that. Just too bad he shows so much nervous energy in the dugout, huh?
That's what you get right there.
That's it. It's that Joe Torre look, right?
He is very stoic and a guy that seems to be very confident in what he's doing.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt the team has responded to everything. I know the team in general and the coaching staff talks about how well prepared this whole staff is for these games. And yeah, I like everything about him. Of course, he's won in the minor leagues. He's had just about every job in this Cardinal organization and done well. He's more than paid his dues to be in that chair.
Who do you like in the wild card right now? Who do you think the 2 teams might be?
You can ask me that tomorrow and I'll probably
Right.
change my mind. That's the beauty of the National League, right? It does seem to change almost on a daily basis. Very different from the American League, where there's such a split between a few good teams and the rest of the division.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Just had a shot there of Michael Gersh and John Mozeliak, John Vooch in the background. The front office of the Cardinals. You mentioned how the Cardinals remade that bullpen. Boy, they did it in a blink of an eye.
They really did. That's not an easy thing to do that on the fly in the course of the season. Difficult for a manager even to understand how to use all those parts. And I think the defense has stabilized. I wouldn't say this is going to be a premier defensive team, but to me it's gotten better. Of course, Harrison Bader to me is a big part of that. I think of him as an impact player on defense alone. So the combination of the bullpen changes and defense, better run prevention.
The strikeout there for Jack Flaherty. And what's amazing is that all the guys that were in the rotation opening day at Memphis AAA are all now here. I mean, that's incredible. You don't see that, do you, very often?
Not for teams in contention. I was looking at this today. Of course, Wade Miley is going to pitch tomorrow for Milwaukee. Wade has about 6 years and a few days of service time in his big league career. The entire Cardinals rotation has just about that many service days in the major leagues. 5 starters in a pennant race and pitching well.
Would Matt Carpenter be your MVP, or at least in the conversation?
I think right now he would be my MVP. I've been a big proponent of Freddie Freeman, and by no means is that race settled at all, but think about the way Matt's power has really carried this team when the team got hot. So yeah, he's at least in the conversation, the short list of MVP candidates.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Hernan Perez, filling in now for Eric Thames. I guess we never should be surprised at that man right there, Yadier Molina. Another start tonight.
I'm amazed that at his age he's not taking an off day for more than 3 weeks now.
It's a foul ball. Do you think of anybody else workman like that at this position?
Not in this day and age. I mean, you go back to the 60s and 70s, a guy like Randy Hundley with the Chicago Cubs, but no, to be behind the plate this often at this age. I'm thinking about how many times he's squatted in the course of his career, how many foul balls have hit him. Truly remarkable, a testament to how well he takes care of himself.
The Brewers a little banged up already with Ryan Braun dealing with a rib cage issue. That's off the knee of Perez. Thames had the collision with Kane earlier. He's been lifted in this game. Did it surprise you at all that Milwaukee did not go out and address their starters?
Absolutely. I'm really surprised that the deals they did make as well as the ones they didn't make. To me, I love Mike Moustakas and Jonathan Scope, both really good major league players, but it was not a need for this team at the deadline, and they really have compromised their defense, and they're aware of that. You put a guy like Shaw at second base, never played the position in his life, and go learn it on the fly. That's a risk.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fouled back.
And pitchers who were traded, like a Jay Happ or especially a Kevin Gausman, I thought were really good fits for this rotation. And for whatever reasons, they didn't work out deals for what was clearly a need for me.
Could you see the Cardinals getting back in the Central and winning this? I mean, they're back in it, but could you see them winning it?
I still have a lot of respect for the Cubs. I'll take the team with the lead at any point, but it wouldn't surprise me if they could steal it. I mean, getting hot at this time of year, the confidence I see them playing with now. I mean, especially for me, Dan, the quality of their at-bats now. This team, I don't think people realize what a grinder mentality they have. They're right up there with the Astros and the Dodgers in terms of patience at the plate. And you're seeing that tonight against a guy like Peralta, who's had trouble throwing strikes, and the Cardinals are not helping him at all.
We started our telecast talking about the Cardinals this month have struck out the fewest times in baseball. Now that's a far cry from where this team was 2 months ago.
It really is. And I look at the success of the Atlanta Braves, and I think that has a lot to do with the way they're playing baseball. They're a little more aggressive, but the ability to put the ball in play and hit the ball the other way. To me, it's a big thing in a game where we see so many strikeouts and so many shifts.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Perez. Lifts it in the air to shallow left. Marcelo Zuna will make the catch. Always good seeing you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thanks, Dan.
Have fun tomorrow. Thanks for coming in. Tom Verducci, he'll have the call tomorrow on FS1 6 here in St. Louis. As presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Boy, what a good, and I mean really good half inning we just had. Oh, hey, Brad, you're back.
What was that supposed to mean? I mean, I'm sure it was great.
Tom was just
something, huh?
Really good. Great to have you back. Jerko with a drive. How about Big Mac land just to the right of it? A long home run. Jed Jerko, 10th of the year. 3-0 Cardinals.
We have seen Jed Jerko do a lot of this. He gets a fastball middle in and punishes this thing. We know what he does to heaters. He was ready for one right there and got every little bit of this baseball.
And now Colton Wong.
Verducci give you anything like that when he sat down?
He did not.
Anything special? No.
It's great to have you back.
It's good to be back.
You've been here. The Cardinals score 3-0 now as Wong puts it in play to short. Jonathan Scope. And there's one away.
You see Jed Jerko just gets that fastball and just gets it out in front. Well balanced, gets the head out. He was ready for it. I don't think there's a fastball in this league that he can't catch up to. And I know that one was 88 right there, but he knew what he was working with Peralta. and was ready for it.
It's been in double digits in home runs every year here in St. Louis, which included a 30 home run campaign. Michael Shanahan, 17 today, celebrating with friends here at the ballpark. Happy birthday, Michael. The Shanahan family that is involved with St. Louis Blues hockey for years and done a lot of great things in this town. 1 ball and 1 strike on Harrison Bader. And it's 1-2. Michael's grandfather was one of the great people in sports in St. Louis. Passed away, and we miss him. Hit to the right side. Aguilar step on the bag.
Time to find an ATM? Again? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Harrison Bader made that close.
Hey, he doesn't take anything for granted.
No, sir.
That was a ground ball to the first baseman. He saw Aguilar go after it, and he decided, well, I'm going to give this everything I've got. He made that tight.
I was on your radio station, 101 ESPN today, and actually,
Makes one of us.
Yeah, doing your show,
Yeah,
which
thank you
you
for
weren't
that.
a part of.
You're great at it.
Nice job. Yeah, you can do both radio and TV in the same day. It's okay, but
You know that show gets over at 7 o'clock, right?
might show your work ethic.
I know.
However, I said today that we're watching a guy that, in Bader, in my mind, he's a Gold Glover. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win it this year. It's been limited time, but give him a full season. It's a Gold Glove player out there.
It's not just eyeball tests. We've seen some fantastic things. We've seen him run down balls in the gap. The numbers are there to back it up. I mean, we've seen it out of all of baseball. He is one of the best defenders out there, and I don't see that slowing down at all. And it's not just the speed. He's got great speed, but he's got great instincts as well, and he's fearless. I mean, that is a nice combination out there for an outfielder.
Here's a 1-2 and a swing and a miss by Jack Flaherty. Second strikeout for Peralta, but Jed Jerko goes deep. 10th of the year. 3-0 Cardinals. Jed Jerko with home run number 10. A solo shot. 8 of his 10 home runs have been solo home runs. 3-0 lead. Yadier Molina, the workhorse behind the plate, 25 consecutive starts now. And his last 24 games, a .292 average, 11 extra base hits. He's driven in 13. And a high on base percentage and batting second in that Cardinal lineup. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Dan, every game Yadi extends that record for consecutive games started by a catcher 35 years or older. As you mentioned, it's now at 25 straight. Mike Shildt told me we keep an eye on him, and it's pretty obvious he's playing great now. He's a world-class competitor, and he prepares to play. I don't need to go to him every day to say, how are you feeling? He'll let me know when he needs a break. Bill DeWitt Jr. told me this. When Yadi says, I'm good to go, who else would you want in there, Dan? Pretty good point there by the owner.
How about that? Mr. DeWitt weighing in. I love it.
I feel like when the owner says that, you're pretty much you're set. You're good to go. And that's the thing. It's not just that he's going out there because he's Yadier Molina. That's the name behind, the name on the jersey, and that guy just plays. No, that guy is playing at an extremely high level, and he keeps doing it. And Mike Shildt, as Jim said there's open lines of communication, and Yadi does everything for the team. He'll do anything for you. And if he is not feeling like he can go a certain day, he'll go. But he prepares for this. He's ready to go every day.
You also have Mike Maddox. I was talking with him in spring training about Yadier Molina. He said, well, he's just an extension of our coaching staff. That's what we have right now.
Well, how nice is that? Yeah, I mean, you've got that on the field, calling shots. It makes your job easier. Mike Maddox is one of the best and most respected pitching coaches in all of Major League Baseball. And then you couple that with arguably the best catcher. I mean, he's one of the best catchers ever in Yadier Molina, and one of the smartest catchers ever. You're very fortunate to be a part of this pitching staff.
The 2-2 swung on and missed, and a strikeout for Flaherty. There's Benji there on the right, working on the Spanish broadcast here in St. Louis. You can also get that on the app, and I know a lot of our Spanish speaking players, their families listen on MLB.com and the app. And there's Polo Asensio on the left side. Two fun guys to be around.
They have a lot of fun over there. I saw Benji's jersey today. On the back of it, it said big money. Polo told me he was going to get a jersey too that said no money.
So what is your MLB player jersey, player weekend nickname?
Man, I don't know if we could put it on a jersey. Well, I could be I'm pasty, milky. I don't have much of a tan. I don't know if you've noticed this before. I just kind of burn, peel, and repeat. So it'd probably be something to do with that. Chalky.
That would work. That's out of play. And yet you're from Vegas. It gets rather hot there. A little sunshine there.
Wow, you should probably stay out of it. Really, it's so hot. You know.
You played baseball. You're always in the sun.
Yeah. That's where the freckles came from. They come together though, and it looks like a tan during the summer months.
Nice. And a nice play. Carpenter steps on the bag, and Peralta is out number 2. There's Christian Yelich, who is 1 for 2 with a double.
I do like that weekend where the players can throw the nicknames out there. It's fun. It's fun for the fans. It's fun for the guys. Did you happen to see Brad Boxberger's, where he had the emoji of a box and the emoji of a burger?
That's a good one.
I appreciate that. That's
favorite,
outside the box.
Tampa
burger.
Bay was here last year, and I cannot remember the reliever, but he was a very big gentleman, and his name was Two Towels because he said it takes 2 towels to wrap around his body. I thought that was pretty good.
Gotta have some fun with it. This game is fun. We do know that every night means a lot, and this series this weekend means a lot for the St. Louis Cardinals. But at its core, it's a game. You can have some fun with it. You can enjoy yourself.
Nothing at 2 the count. 3 hits aside, and the Cardinals a 3-run lead. Flaherty trying to pick up strikeout number 5. And the 0-2. Got him with that slider down and in to Yelich. 5 strikeouts tonight for Jack Flaherty. Coming up, the top of the lineup, Matt Carpenter, Yadier Molina, Jose Martinez. Back at Busch in a moment. Carpenter's 0 for his last 11, 8 fly ball outs. Trying to extend his on base streak. The first pitch of ball, he flied to deep right field. If you just joined us, Kane and Thames came together, the center fielder and the right fielder, and there's a look at the numbers during this streak. And they collided, then eventually Thames had to be lifted. So Hernan Perez is in right field. Then he took a ball off his knee. They do have Broxton on their bench, Ryan Braun, Manny Pena, Arcia as well, an infielder. It's a banged up club right now. The 1-1.
Ryan Braun tweaked a rib cage the other day too in his game against the Cubbies, so you wonder how he's feeling today.
And the 2-1 pitch to Carpenter. 2-2. Found it interesting to get a national perspective from Tom Verducci, who said right now, and still plenty of time to go, 6 weeks, but Matt Carpenter gets his vote for MVP.
I'd like to hear that. It's he can still add to it, and I feel like a lot of people are holding the slow start against him. To me, it makes the story even more special.
Peralta with his 3rd strikeout. September 2nd, 12,000 kids 15 and younger entering with a ticket, take home their very own Cardinals Bear, presented by Build-A-Bear Workshop. Cardinals.com/promotions. There's Yadier Molina. Walked in, scored back in the first, and fly to center. Here's a 1-0. Inside. And a 3-0 pitch. Taken for a strike.
Now the Cardinals have scored 3 runs so far in this game, but as much as Peralta has fallen behind, I mean, this could have gone a lot worse for him early on. Peralta can be effectively wild at times.
And it's popped up on a 3-1 pitch. Peralta wants to catch it and get out of the way. That's Aguilar.
As a pitcher, you want it so bad sometimes.
How many times did you ever catch one?
Carry the 2. Never. No, not once.
Carry the 2.
No, I got the heck out of there. So you. I was surrounded by gold glovers out there. Might as well let somebody else do the work. Scott Rowland, you got it. Albert, go.
Yachty.
Yeah, I'm getting out of the way. The only ones that I fielded were the Rockets back to me, and it was just self-preservation is all it was.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You've got a big old shiny ring with your name on it.
That is very true. We can go ahead and thank those gold glovers again and the Silver Sluggers. That was just that was a pretty good team we had there in 06. 83 wins doesn't buy you what it used to, though.
No. It was against these Brewers in which your team that final weekend got into postseason play. And you had a terrific start to that season too.
It was a team that just got beat up. All the key players were injured throughout the year, and it seemed like once you thought you were going in the right direction, somebody else would get bit until we got into the playoffs. And you faced the Padres in the divisional round, and everybody was healthy. That was a whole different squad then.
Ronnie Belliard makes a great play on a ground ball to the right side, and a different feel.
Big time momentum shifter.
A ball and 2 strikes on Jose Martinez. That's it down the right field line and foul. Statcast AI powered by AWS, and a look at primarily where the balls go off the bat of Martinez.
How does it take this guy to as long as it did to get to the major leagues? That's all he's done throughout his career is hit. And he drives the ball all over the place. You saw the spray chart right there. Wherever it's pitched, that's what he's doing. And it's not like he's slapping the ball. He does it with damage. He drives the ball the other way. You throw one on the inner half, he'll snap hook it down the line.
There's a lot of things that he does. He's just loud at the plate.
Well, his swing can be a little loud. His setup can be a little loud. And if you go high and tight on him, he can get a little loud on you too. Just letting you know he doesn't love it.
Had him out in front on the 2-2, and it's popped up. Travis Shaw with the catch. Kane, Moustakas, Aguilar, 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Brad Thompson, let's take a look at the start this far through 5 for Jack Flaherty.
Well, so far, so good for Jack Flaherty. He's got the slider working. He's spotting up, getting a big-time double play right there when he needed it. Pitched out of a little bit of a jam, and he's got himself a 3-0 lead. He has been quite impressive all year long and just keeps growing as a pitcher.
It's now 18 innings if you combine tonight with his last 2 starts. 18 innings and only 9 hits allowed to go along with 21 strikeouts.
It's a really nice slider right there to start off the at bat, and that's just a pitch where he's had that ever since he came up. He's had that wipeout slider, but he's done such a good job here this year of locating with his fastball to use it off of that. It's not just the slider. He can spot up there. He's done a great job of that as well as getting in on righties with the heater and then throwing that breaking ball right afterwards. It's all about getting somebody uncomfortable.
And the 1-1 lifted down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. Could be a big inning here. 2, 3, and 4. Kane, Moustakas, Aguilar. Pitch count at 84 for Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, this is when you really have to bear down, even if you start getting a little bit fatigued. You bear down, you execute a pitch like that. Slider 85 mile an hour down and away. Did a very nice job of just setting that thing up. You see him stay right on top of it. You see the slider grip right there. Lets the grip do the work. I mean, just looks just like a fastball coming out of his hand. You see Kane trying to cheat on the fastball in that he's seen a lot of already today. And by the time he realizes that thing's a slider, it's way too late.
Here's Mike Moustakas. He is walked and flied out to right. Cardinals have a National League best 1.97 bullpen ERA this month. Through the end of July, they were 12th in the National League in bullpen ERA. And you would think by September it gets even better. Carlos Martinez, Adam Wainwright, Michael Wacha starts a rehab.
There are going to be some significant changes in that bullpen right there, and they've already done such a great job of they've got guys that can give you multiple innings. They've got guys that can shut down the back end. I mean, you got so much versatility out in the pen. You've got that guy that can throw 105 if you like that sort of thing. But then you add veteran arms. You got guys that can eat up even more innings. Takes a lot of pressure off your rotation, who's been fantastic as well. And honestly, didn't you think that this bullpen, I know it's a whole new cast of characters now, but the bullpen I thought was going to be a strength coming into the season.
No doubt.
And it didn't work out that way. I mean, this game is sometimes it doesn't make sense. And the Cardinals ran into some injuries. They ran into some guys that struggled. But credit them, credit the organization for making changes when they needed to, and credit some of these young guys for being able to come up, get the job done, because this has turned into a strength for this ball club pretty quick.
1-out walk, and now Jesus Aguilar got him to reach on a slider, ground into a double play last time up. Well, you're thinking when you sign Greg Holland, you're getting the Holland of years past, which was a dominating closer. You had Tyler Lyons coming off a fantastic year.
Lyons was arguably at times last year your best reliever.
Yes. You weren't sure about Bud Norris, but you thought he'd be a good addition. You had a flamethrower in Jordan Hicks. I mean, there was a lot of positives coming into the season, and as you mentioned, after 4 months it just did not work out. And I've heard John Mozeliak talk about it all the time. Definition of insanity, repeating the same thing over and over. Had to make changes.
We got to think, though, some ball clubs that run into something like that, where best laid plans just don't work, and everything kind of blows up on you. There is no safety net for some clubs. The Cardinals are fortunate enough, and they've done a great job over the years of drafting talented pitching, and they've done a great job in the organization of getting them ready, getting them to the spot where they can help in the big leagues. And the stage isn't too big for these guys. They continue to just churn these guys through, and they're ready when they get here.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Aguilar. The next by Flaherty. Now the question will be, can the Cardinals start developing some of that young talent as position players? Earlier today, 20-year-old young man, last name of Montero. I've heard a lot about this kid. Becomes the first Peoria player, first Cardinal minor leaguer there to win the Midwest League MVP. First to do it since Albert Pujols in 2000. There's a strikeout of Aguilar. 7 strikeouts for Jack Flaherty. That's the first called 3rd strike.
Well, Flaherty makes a good adjustment right there. On the one beforehand, you saw his arm drop a little bit. He kind of slung it across his body. That one gets the arm up, gets that good downward action. And you see the 154 strikeouts here. The difference maker here through 25 career starts, more than Shelby Miller, more than Rick Ankiel. Quite impressive what he's been able to do, Dan.
That's your BJC Healthcare difference maker. Now Travis Shaw. He lifts a high fly ball into right field. Martinez, he's there. And Flaherty is through 6. Ozuna, DeYoung, Jerko coming up. Cardinals on top. Miley and Miles Michaelis. We'll be back with you on Sunday. John Gant will get that call. Ozuna, DeYoung, and Jerko for the Cardinals. Marcel with a base hit up the middle to score 2 in the first inning, and there's ball 1. 6 straight start with 7 or more strikeouts by Jack Flaherty. Last to do that was Chris Carpenter in 2005. And when I watch Flaherty, I do see a little bit of Chris Carpenter in his demeanor.
Well, it is funny. You see the demeanor and you see the preparation that Jack Flaherty does. Mike Schilt before the game was talking about how much he digs into the video, how all of the little things. I mean, this is a young pitcher with a tremendous amount of just talent. He could probably just go out there and his talent would play, but he cares about taking it to the next level. He takes incredible care of his body. He works hard, and a lot of times it takes a few years to learn stuff like that.
Backhanded by Shaw, and that's a third baseman making that play. Nicely done as they were shifted towards the second base bag.
Well, the shift right now for this lineup, for this defense, for the Brewers is going to be incredibly important. You better make sure that those guys are in the right place, because when you got Shaw playing second, Scope playing short, who's used to playing second, you're going to need them positioned in the right place, because you're going to lose a little bit range-wise. They did a good job of having them where they needed to be.
And a strike to Paul DeYoung. And a ground ball that is foul.
DeYoung just out in front right there on that one. Moustakas can play a pretty good third base over there.
Very much so. Good player, all-around player.
Yeah, saw him make a nice play earlier. We mentioned the contract, the issues over the offseason. I'm sure it was a disappointing one for him, but he didn't let that carry into his game this year.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Be interesting to see how the offseason goes. Will guys sign early if offered?
It is one of those things. I can't believe that. First of all, I just can't believe how this offseason went. Overall, you had great players that were waiting there for a long time, but there's got to be a tad bit of a fear factor involved now on the players' side, where you might want to hold out for more money, but you realize that you might want to find a fit early on. We saw guys, Moustakas being one of the biggest examples of a guy that didn't get near what most people thought he was going to get on the open market. But you also saw a lot of guys miss spring training and then not have success. Greg Holland, we saw one of them here. Lance Lynn was off to a very slow start with the Twins before getting traded over to the Yankees. It's a dangerous game to play, the waiting game in free agency, it feels like.
There's Jed Jerko, a home run back in the fourth. And our Nissan drive of the game is 10th of the year. Now more than ever, it is a young man's game. We're seeing across the board younger players making debuts and sticking with big league clubs. We just saw Soto with Washington at the age of 19. Ronald Acuna, and clearly here in St. Louis, the youth Cardinals have. And my point is, I wonder if some teams, the mindset will be stay away from the veterans and long-term deals in those investments and roll the dice with young players.
Yeah, it is very difficult when you're swimming in the waters, and I think we're going to see far less of the 8 to 10 year deals. I mean, those are going to be very special individuals. Maybe this year you've got Machado, you've got Bryce Harper. Maybe they get those deals, or maybe ball clubs just overspend drastically early on a shorter term deal. You have an obscene amount of money up front, but overall, it is difficult to get into when you're drafting and you're developing so well. You have cost-controlled players, but I still believe that there is plenty of room in this game for these veteran guys. You need the leadership. That's one thing that is undervalued. First of all, you just got good players that were sitting out there on free agency, late to sign, but they're also guys that can bring it all together for a ball club.
Back-to-back strikeouts. Dakota Hudson has been throwing in the Cardinals' pen. And a family night here at Busch Stadium. allows 3 hits in 6 innings. Mike Schilt has been very aggressive with his bullpen as Dakota Hudson is in. Tom Verducci referenced this. He's already won 4 games in which his starter went less than 5 innings. 4, which the starter did not go 5. Mike Matheny had 2 such wins in 93 games this year. So you see him with a revamped bullpen, more options going to guys like Dakota Hudson, who's just been spectacular thus far.
He really has, and you see the numbers that he put up there, the dominance overall, but certainly the dominance against righties. Righties hitting right around 0 against Dakota Hudson so far early on in his career. The super sinker that he has, throws a really nice slider off of it, and he has really adapted well to this bullpen role.
And a ground ball. Wong sliding up, throwing, throw off line. A base hit for Jonathan Scope.
Well, Hudson gets the ground ball that he was looking for right there. Gets him out there, but it just ends up going the other way. Kolten Wong makes a nice athletic play, gets up, tries to make the throw. Scope can move pretty well, though. Kolten Wong a little bit mad at himself, but that's a very difficult play.
It was 95 pitches tonight for Jack Flaherty, so lifted in favor of Hudson. And now Perez. We showed you the numbers. Hudson against these right-handed batters, really good. Perez has flied to left, filling in now for Thames. We talk a lot about Hudson and his sinker, but it's much more than that. Mid-90s fastball, good breaking ball. So full assortment of pitches that you would think eventually for his career path would take him to a rotation.
No doubt, and he was putting up big time numbers in the rotation at AAA Memphis. But the Cardinals had a need here. The Cardinals had a need in the bullpen. But you never know. You never know how a guy is going to take to that job. There are a lot of starters that are stuck in the routine, need that aspect of it, need the buildup, need the long toss, the stretch beforehand. And there are some guys just acclimate to it well, and Hudson has been one of those guys that has just taken to it.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Perez. MC the season ticket holder event tonight. John Mozeliak was speaking at that event and talked about Hudson. He said the original plan was to shut him down. They had a look at his innings, and they were starting to get up there as a starter, but the need was so great here they brought him up. And their point was they'd get him through August and then shut him down in September, regroup for spring training, have him go out on a high note. But then he said the allure, the temptation was too great. They knew they had a need in their bullpen, so put him in the bullpen, let him get his feet wet at the major league level. And now he's taking on a role that is high leverage.
You adapt and adjust between the majors and the minors this year. 122 innings for Dakota Hudson. He looks none the worse for wear. I mean, he looks really good. He pounds the strike zone. He trusts his stuff. And that's what you want, especially. I mean, he's grown into bigger roles. We've seen him be the fireman here recently. When things go awry, they call him in, and why wouldn't you? He's got a sinker in the mid-90s. He gets a ton of ground balls. You need a double play. He's your guy.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. That good sinker. Let's see if he gets the ground ball. He does. And it's a double play. 4-6-3 in the second double play turned by the Cardinals tonight.
Well, he does get the double play here. This one stays up in the zone a little bit. Get above the strike zone, but it's got the giddy up on it at 96. Doesn't have to sink all the time. Nice one hopper to Kolten Wong right there. Paul DeYoung does a great job of clearing out. Knew he had time to make the throw. 1 pitch, 2 outs. That's how you like it as a pitcher.
It brings in Eric Kratz. What's the key? And Brad, you had a terrific sinker. Now you didn't throw it mid-90s, but you got a ton of ground balls. the key to a good sinker, what is it?
Yeah, mine was just making sure you stay on top of it. What I mean by that is keeping your fingers on top of the ball as opposed to on the side. And I focused a lot on the energy right at the end. The flick of the wrist to me was quite important. If I felt it coming off my fingers, reaching out there, I knew I was going to get that good downward angle on it. And his just looks so free and easy. I mean, it is at 94, 95, 96, but it doesn't look like he's trying to do too much. And then you couple that slider that he throws out of the same arm slot, and that thing is hard. It doesn't have a big hump in it. That's a very defensive swing right there. 96 on the inner half. Can't do anything with that.
1-2 the count. I think the temptation for Mike Shildt and the Cardinals would be to go to Hudson a lot. You can understand why, but they're going to be careful. You got to be careful with usage, appearances.
You do for sure, and it's a lot easier to be careful when you have a lot of guys out there getting the job done.
Breaks his bat. Hudson has it. The double play. Grounder back to him, and it's time to stretch. 3-0 our score here at Busch Stadium. Jordan Lyles, our Chevy called to the pen. He's been a starter at times in this season and in his career. And Keon Broxton takes over in right field. And he'll take over for Perez, who grounded into that double play. So part of the double switch. And here's Colton Wong. And the first pitch, a strike. The Honda home run inning, Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Soft roller to second base and the out. Harrison Bader has walked and also grounded out. Greg Garcia at the on-deck circle. He would pinch hit for Dakota Hudson. Jordan Hicks getting set for the bottom of the the top of the eighth.
This Cardinals offense has been very good late in games, continuing to pile on, and you'd like to see a little bit more of that here. You've got your bullpen set up very well. You've got Hicks going already. But if you pile on a couple of more, maybe you don't have to go to your same arms, get somebody else some work, and keep everybody fresh.
1 ball and 1 strike on Harrison Bader. Hit out of play. Mentioned the Cardinals have improved defensively by a lot. And that coincides with Wong playing every day, I would think. And certainly Harrison Bader in center field. Not that Tommy Pham played poorly, just Harrison is at a different level than most.
He really is. And no, Tommy Pham could play a fine center field. Harrison Bader is just playing one of the best center field in baseball. I mean, and that's not just saying could we see him all the time. The numbers bear that out. I mean, that's what he has been. And when you're building a team, if you can build it strong up the middle, you're going to be in really good shape. I know Willie McGee works a lot with Harrison Bader. He sings his praises.
Love to watch him run. On his way to second base. And Bader will stop there with a 1-out double.
Well, you see Harrison Bader here gets one middle in. Lyles trying to put this down and away, and as soon as he hits it, he is gone off to the races. That's the thing about Harrison Bader. He's always thinking 2 out of the box. And then if something happens, if you get a left fielder that kicks that or takes a weird carom, he's going to be on third base. I mean, he takes nothing for granted. We saw it earlier on a ground ball to first base. Routine grounder. And he makes this thing close over at first. I love that sort of hustle. It puts pressure on a defense.
It snaps 10 in a row set down by Milwaukee pitching. And now Greg Garcia. They've got 2 lefties in their pen, one being Hader. He closes games out, and the other Jennings. And they don't have either one of them up with Garcia here and Carpenter on deck.
Well, Lyles has had his struggles this year. It's been up and down. But a lot of his struggles have been against righties. He's actually handled lefties a little bit better. And the Brewers bullpen has had its struggles. I think they're trying to save some of these guys, Hader specifically, for a spot maybe where they have the lead or they feel like it's a little bit closer. Him and Jeffress at the back end have been very, very good for him. I think maybe they like Lyles splits here a little bit better.
Trying to keep him close at second base. Garcia knows that. He's got a very good uncanny ability of just poking the ball through that left side. Looked like you may have been trying to do it with that pitch.
It's incredibly frustrating as a pitcher when you got a guy that can do something like that. You've got him 2 strikes. You execute a good pitch, but he has an approach. He has an idea of what he wants to do with it. You got a big hole over there in the gap. Greg Garcia handles the bat extremely well.
And the 0-2 pitch to Greg Garcia. At the start last night at third base, mentioned this that Mike Schild was talking about Greg Garcia. He said, "Oh, I had him a bunch in the minor leagues." And Mike won a bunch in the minor leagues, championships, AA, and also at Memphis. And he said Greg Garcia may not look like it, but he's a winning player.
He is for sure. And he's a guy that no matter what you ask of him, he can do it. Wherever you put him in the field, he could do it. Whatever part of the game that he gets an at bat, whether he's starting or coming off of the bench, you feel comfortable putting him up there. He doesn't have to be an everyday starter to make a huge impact on this ball club. There's a reason he's hung around as long as he has, is because he is that winning ball player.
And a good teammate.
No question. Well, you think about that role. It's been Descalso's. It's been Skip Schumacher's. Those incredible teammates. Aaron Miles. Yes, they can play multiple positions, take great at-bats, and are always ready.
Foul territory. Moustakas with the catch. Don't miss Budweiser Bash on Tuesday, August 28th. Budweiser Terrace. Live music. Exciting new area of the ballpark, and fans can also purchase a theme ticket to a Budweiser Bash August 28th and get a bobblehead and autograph from Ray and Langford. Be inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame tomorrow. Cardinals.com/BudBash. Wouldn't think that they'd pitch to Carpenter with first base open, even with the splits that you're talking about. So the intentional walk And they'll pitch to Yadier Molina. Think about the 2-hole for the Cardinals now and how important this spot has been because you hit behind Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, that's been huge. Yadier Molina has been up with a lot of guys on. Carpenter has been on quite a bit, and he's made teams pay for it. There was a couple of games a few weeks ago where Carpenter was intentionally walked. The first time Yadier didn't make him pay for it. The next time he certainly did. You've got Bader running at second base where the outfield's playing currently. I think he scores on any base hit.
On base streak now at 35 for Matt Carpenter. Runners at first and second. A 3-0 St. Louis lead. Big gap in right center. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Yadier Molina. It's now the 10th intentional walk issued to Carpenter since the All-Star break.
He's on. I'd do it too. When you've got a guy that has seen the ball as well as him, as great as Yadi is, you got to take your chances. You got to play the matchups.
And the 1-1 is grounded to short. He'll go across the diamond, and the Cardinals strand a pair. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 8th inning, Jordan Hicks coming on when we come back. Birthday to that youngster. First game at Busch Stadium. I would say a moment that baby will never forget, but that baby has no idea what's going on.
It's always pictures.
That's true. 57th appearance now for Jordan Hicks in our Chevy call to the pen. He's had a really good year jumping from A-ball to the big leagues.
He really has. I couldn't even imagine making such a jump, and I also couldn't imagine being able to throw 100 miles an hour on the regular. You see what he's coming at you with. We've seen it all year. Fastball 77% of the time. He's got that really good slider that he can throw off of it, which makes his fastball better, which seems crazy to say you can make 101, 102 mile an hour fastball with sink even better. But if you've got that extra wrinkle in the hitter's head, well, it takes him off that heater a little bit.
He's had 933 pitches this year. Now 934, most out of the bullpen. A good majority of those have been 100 or 100 plus. Just given that that gifted right arm, and what an arm it is. Cardinals had him as a starter in the minor leagues. But when you watch him pitch, and we've seen it now for the better part of this year, He's kind of got a nasty streak to him,
Yes,
a little
he does.
edge, and the Cardinals play on that and say, and you did this. You were a starter and a bullpen guy, and they like the fact that as a bullpen position in pitching, you got a chance to compete every day, and there is something to be said about that.
No, there certainly is. Russ Springer was one of my favorite teammates ever, and I think that he said it best. In the bullpen, I get to bring my lunch pail to work every day. I know, yeah, I know I've got a chance to be in there, and some guys like to start, some guys love the routine of it, and other guys really thrive out in the bullpen, and I believe that Jordan Hicks could do either one, but when you see what he's able to do out of the pen.
Tough play here. Wong. Wow, what a play. Colton Wong. Man, oh man, is that good.
Well, you see this sinker right here. Jordan Hicks can't get it. No worries. Colton Wong is there. You know how hard that play is to make? He's coming in, shovels this thing underhand, basically, makes a strong throw. Incredibly athletic. My goodness. You see the reaction from Matt Carpenter. You saw the reaction in the dugout from Ollie Marmol and Jose Oquendo, just smiles and shaking their head. That's exactly what Colton Wong brings day in and day out. You can't teach that. I mean, that's a skill set. That's special.
One of the fastest runners in baseball, too. Be interesting if the voters, those that look at the Gold Glove and decide that, take a hard look at Colton Wong this year. We've seen him at a Gold Glove level. 0-1 and a base hit into center. Boy, that jumped off the bat of Christian Yelich. And he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Well, when you throw 102, you don't have to do too much. You just got to put the barrel to it. This one just stays center cut a little bit. Yelich does a very good job of just staying with it. Doesn't get big in his swing. He has been a great pickup for them. I mean, that was a trade where you knew that all the outfielders were going to be on the move. Obviously, the Cardinals get Ozuna, the Yankees get Stanton, and they get Christian Yelich. He's been fantastic. I mean, he's been in the conversation as well when you're talking about MVP.
Lorenzo Cain, the single to right, also grounded out and struck out, and looks at a ball. Crowd still buzzing after that play made by Wong. And the 1-0.
You know, with the Jordan Hicks on the bump, you've got an opportunity for a lot of plays like that. Now, maybe not that special, but you're going to get a lot of balls that aren't hit very well, where you get big swings that barely catch any bat, and they're going to be slow rollers. You're going to have guys coming in on it, but that play was ridiculous.
And the 2-0 pitch. 3-0.
Injury or illness should never interrupt childhood. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood.
We see Yadier Molina go out there and just kind of slow it down for Jordan Hicks a little bit. And that is something that Yadi is so good at. When he sees something, he doesn't have to go out there all the time. With the rule changes, it's a little bit more difficult to do so. But we talked earlier in the game about Mike Maddox has another coach on the staff in Yadier Molina. He doesn't have to go out. Mike doesn't all the time. He's got Yadi there that can help make adjustments. You're just trying to slow Jordan Hicks down a little bit. You know, you're one pitch away from a ground ball.
3-1.
Slows it down at 100.
That's how you slow it down.
That's right. Just dial it back a little bit.
Hardest you threw is what?
Off the bat or like myself? So I've seen 100 on the gun, but it was coming in hot afterwards. I think the hardest that I ever threw a ball was about 94, probably.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and it was probably after a double in the gap. It was like a mad ball. Nowhere near where I wanted it to. It was nowhere like 102 to 100.
It's been all fastballs here from Jordan Hicks. The 3-2 pitch. Another one. And now a walk. The tying run comes to the plate.
Just pulling off that a little bit. Now, not exactly where you want to be. You don't want to be here runners first and second. Dangerous guy up at the plate. But when you have stuff like Jordan Hicks does, a situation like this doesn't change how you pitch. You just keep going at it. You run that sinker out there. You try to get him to reach for something. You get a little weak contact, and all of a sudden, one pitch turns into 2 outs yet again.
He's had 12 pitches, and not one has been below 100 miles per hour. 1 out and 2 on. Dangerous spot here, Moustakas. Strike one. He's walked twice and also flied to right.
Goes with the slider there. Evens count. I've got to show a different look every once in a while. Get that thing. If you're going to miss down and in, you want to leave that thing hanging over the plate. Then you can go right back out with the sinker.
Did not go. 2-1. Runners on base, Milwaukee 0 for 8 tonight. Grounded into 2 double plays. Hicks with love number 3. The 2-1 pitch by Jordan Hicks. 2-2.
Gets the call on the corner right there. Elevates a little bit. Gets the benefit of the doubt. Big pitch right there. See this thing just tailing right there on the corner. Could have gone either way. And it goes the Cardinals' way here. Let's see what he does with it.
And the 2-2 pitch. Jordan Hicks to Moustakas. A reminder again, FS1 will have the telecast tomorrow, 6 o'clock. We'll be back with you on Sunday.
If he has got a feel for it, that hard slider down and in could be really good. It's a dangerous pitch, knowing that if you miss over the plate, you're in trouble. But it'd be good here.
The 2-2. There was a slider there.
Very good pitch. Late breaking action right there. Stayed back on it really well. You see him stay right on top of that ball. That thing just drives down. And all Moustakas can do is foul it off, hit it off his foot. Looked like it hurt.
2-2 the count. Moustakas just a couple of hits against the Cardinals this year. We saw him earlier in the season with Kansas City. He's 2 for 15 against St. Louis pitching. They've kept him in check as the outfield is very deep. This crowd, 41,630, starting to make some noise. Here we go. The 2-2 pitch to Moustakas. There's nobody up and throwing at the moment for the Cardinals. Jesus Aguilar is at the on-deck circle. Now Moustakas gets on. That may change.
Certainly could. You got a lot of options down there in the pen. But there's a belief we've seen Hicks all year being able to get very rarely gets in jams, but he gets out of them very well. Make a pitch right here down to the zone.
The 3-2, and now the base is loaded. You got to figure you get a visit here from Mike Maddox, get somebody up and throwing in the pen. Saturday, September 1st, 30,000 fans 16 and older can look and feel like a pro in a home white embroidered jersey, courtesy of TD Ameritrade. Tickets at Cardinals.com/promotions. Got to think that Bud Norris potentially could be an option here to get up and just start throwing and make it maybe beyond a 1-inning save. We'll see.
We know how big this series is, how big this game is. The Cardinals have the 3-0 lead. You got Bud Norris going in the bullpen right now. You still believe that Jordan Hicks with his stuff can get out of this, but you might as well have your big guns ready. You might as well go. This game means a lot. Mike Maddox just trying to slow him down a little bit. We've seen Jordan Hicks pull off a couple of pitches, maybe try to do a little bit too much, speeding up his body. You know how good he can be if he just stays under control. It's an easy thing when you're watching on TV, or if I'm up here watching from upstairs. It's a lot harder thing to slow yourself down in the moment, in the game. He's done a great job of it throughout the season, making those adjustments. He's going to have to make another one here.
Inning started with a ground out and a great play by Wong. A single by Yelich, Kane, and Moustakas. Back-to-back walks. 3-walk night for Moustakas. Aguilar, by the way, 0 for 3 in his career against Jordan Hicks. So here we go. The big slugger at the plate. The young fireballer on the mound for the Cardinals. The first pitch. A strike at 102. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays. One of those was back in the 3rd off the bat of Aguilar. The 0-1. Slider and a beauty. Nothing at 2.
It's a great pitch right there. You see how far away Aguilar is standing in the box. We've seen Hicks miss arm side a few times. That's what he's trying to bank on, is something that he misses arm side on. Doesn't miss on that one. Gets the late break there, up in the zone, but still away. Going to be tough for Aguilar to get to.
And the 0-2 pitch. Base hit into left. Hung that one. And 2 runs will come in to score, and the tying run in scoring position. Where with a slider, he hung it, and Aguilar delivers a base hit to cut the lead to 3-2.
Well, if you're going to go with the slider, obviously he's trying to go outside the zone off the plate. This one doesn't. Kind of spins out of his hand, and Aguilar looking out that way anyhow after he got a couple that way and able to snap hook it and make this game a little bit tighter than it needs to be. You see where Yachty was set up outside of the plate. The pitch is close to the one beforehand, but with 2 strikes he's trying to protect and just able to get the barrel to that.
Here's Travis Shaw. Runners at 1st and 2nd. And Shaw looks at strike 1. Chasen Shreve has joined Norris in the pen. Fly ball near the line. Ozuna the catch. Jonathan Schoop, the former Oriole. Baltimore loses again. They are 50 games, 50 below 500. So far with the Milwaukee Brewers hitting just 159.
It's been a slow start for Jonathan Schoop here with the Brewers. Their idea was, hey, let's add to our offense. It's very good. Weren't able to go out there and find that starting pitcher, but we can make the aspect of our club that's already good even better. And you know that there's way more in the tank. We saw he had a monster season last year. I think it was 32 home runs, 105 RBI. I mean, and you didn't think about him because Manny Machado was on his team. But this guy is phenomenal. He's a great player. Just been a slow start. Hopefully it continues to be slow.
First pitch is strike. Schoop single back in the 7th inning. And the 0-1 into center field, but that'll be caught. DeYoung with the catch. Brewers pick up 2. Cut the lead to 1. Struck early. The Budweiser plays of the game. Jerko made it 3-0 with his 10th home run. Colton Wong, outstanding play. Reaction of Matt Carpenter. Their Budweiser plays of the game. Look at our game summary. 3-2 Cardinals. And a base hit into center for Jose Martinez. Always fun when you come to the ballpark. Peanuts, popcorn, the Cracker Jack. Always something going on at the ballpark. Tonight it's Pride Night here at Busch Stadium. Tomorrow we'll have the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Sunday, the Dizzy Dean watch giveaway. Always something to do here at the old ballpark. There's Marcell Ozuna, and now Tyler O'Neill at first base.
Will be a great time for Marcell Ozuna to do a little damage right here. Find a pitch up in the zone. Game got a little tighter. Time to extend that lead.
Good slider. It's been kind of a simple formula as teams approach Ozuna. They either bust him in, and I mean way in, and then soft away. It's kind of the old saying you hear. Bust him in, hard, soft away.
Yeah, it's pitching. It's textbook. Now you do worry if you make that mistake over the plate. You know the power that Marcell Ozuna has. He hasn't shown it off quite as much as I'm sure he was expecting this year, but still not a guy you want to face in a spot. You know if you do make that mistake, he can make you pay for it. Once again, would love to see that mistake here.
And a check on Tyler O'Neill at first base. A ball and a strike on Marcell Ozuna. Big crowd. I mentioned it earlier. For those of you keeping score at home, and I know there's a bunch of you. 41,630. 41630. And another check on Tyler O'Neill back in safely.
Well, speed is a factor. Tyler O'Neill is a guy, we know how he's built, but we've seen him run. He's got big time speed, and as a pitcher, you're worried about that. You might stop forgetting or stop remembering about the guy you have at the plate and make a mistake.
Would you start him? Not on this pitch, as Ozuna lifts it high in the air to right field, and the catch is made. But he's gone with that slider to Ozuna. The Brewers have done that primarily with Paul DeJong too. Adam Chase, you know, and you think you might get an off-speed pitch, you could start a runner, and you hope that then man at the plate takes that pitch to right.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. It's the times they have on Jordan Lyles, the jumps that they believe that they can get off him, the lead that you think that you can get. But if he's going to serve that thing the other way, Paul DeJong can go the other way with it. All of a sudden that base hit turns into first and third with one out. It's a big difference.
Two balls and no strikes. Two and one. DeJong tonight, a couple of strikeouts and also a ground out to third base. He's driven in 10 in his last 10 games. O'Neill is running. Kratz from his knees, and a stolen base for Tyler O'Neill. We mentioned his strength earlier, but we've had a chance to watch him more and more He can run. He's got really good speed.
Well, and you see this jump. He goes first movement right here. Lyles moves the leg. He is gone, and he is flying right there. Safe by quite a bit. And now that same speed sitting here at second base. Base hit, good jump. All of a sudden, this game's 4-2.
Room on that right side of the infield. The 2-2 to Paul DeYoung. Inside. Full count. Time called. Three-two pitch, and it hit him. So now, first and second for Jed Jerko.
Well, Paul DeYoung not happy getting hit by this one, but it's a breaking ball, just slides out of his hands. Definitely no intent there, but it hurts. I mean, that's right in the ribs right there, but gives you a chance. You got first and second. We've seen Jed Jerko already crush a heater. First fastball you saw a couple innings ago, off of Freddie Peralta deposited that thing deep to left field. They're going to try to stay soft away from Jed Jerko, I'm sure, but you fall behind, you're going to have to come to him.
Working with Ricky this past series, the term we used is ambush. He does that to a fastball.
Yes, he does.
Rick on the post-game show tonight with Scott Warman. And ball one. Jim Hayes, our reporter on the scene tonight. Brad Thompson, Dan McLaughlin with you here in the booth, and our entire Fox Sports Midwest crew. 1-0. Two balls and no strikes. So Jerko in the driver's seat here, heading the count 2-0, looking to do damage. Shift on the left side of the infield. The 2-0 pitch, foul back. He had a good cut.
Lyles goes with the fastball right there, 2-0. And this thing just tails in just enough on Jed Jerko. Gets a good hack at it. Might be coming back with another one, 2-1.
The 2-1 instead of check on the runners. And Kratz wants to talk about this pitch. A reminder that Cardinals baseball presented by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford. Going further so you can. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Colton Wong at the on deck circle. Does he get a fastball here?
You don't want to load the bases. Lyles hasn't proven that he can throw that breaking ball for strikes. I think he does. He's going to try to locate a fastball here. He's going to try to do so down and away. And he's missed arm side a couple of times. That is danger zone when it comes to Jed Jerko.
He walked him. And the bases are loaded. A single, a fly out. He's hit a man and now walked one. And they're all loaded up for Colton Wong. And again, no lefty. getting loose at the pen for Wong in this spot.
Well, this game got tight in a hurry, and you would think that they would go to him. Going to have a little chat right here. Maybe we see the bullpen get up for the Brewers.
They're all loaded up for Colton Wong. Jed Jerko, a home run, a strikeout, a walk. His last 3 plate appearances. Cardinals with a stolen base in this inning. The success rate before the All-Star break was 60%. It's 79% after the break.
Making some adjustments. Club keeps getting better and better. And what this club has been very good at recently is taking advantage of an opportunity. The Cardinals have a great opportunity right here. Bases loaded. Jordan Lyles has struggled with his command. We've seen Colton Wong come up huge in big spots throughout his career. We've had a couple of them this year. Another big spot here for Colton Wong.
The base is loaded. And Wong hits it out of play. Cardinals trying to get some insurance here. Colton has made the defensive play of the game the top half of this inning. At the plate tonight, he has walked, grounded out to short, grounded to second. We know he's tough to double up. Middle infield is back, and the corners are in.
I like the aggressive approach right there from Colton Wong. You know he's struggling with his command. You know Lyles is going to want to get ahead. Put a good swing on a fastball right there, just fouled it off.
Big gap in right center. And the 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefties hitting .216 by the way against Jennings. One of their 2 left-handers they have in their bullpen. A ball and a strike. Two and 1. Good speed, especially at third. The 2-1. Wong, base hit in the left. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Colton Wong delivers with a double.
Well, we talked about Colton Wong being ready for a big spot. Gets a fastball out away. This thing's off the plate, but it's up. He does a great job of barreling it. Doesn't try to pull it. Drives it the other way. Drives in 2 huge runs right there for the Cardinals. And all of a sudden, you got a little bit of breathing room here.
5-game hitting streak for Colton Wong. He's driven in 6 in his last 4 games. And now Bader, infield in. Runners at second and third. A strike on Harrison Bader. The struggles of the Milwaukee pen continue. No balls and a strike on Bader, who has walked tonight and also doubled. The next to him. Check swing. Did not go. And it's 1-1. The last time that happened to Bader was on this homestand. Check swing. The Nats thought they had a strikeout. And then Bader hit a home run.
I really thought it was going to happen right there for you. You set it up so perfectly. Still can. No doubt. Got himself some time still.
The 1-2 way outside, and it's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Harrison Bader at the plate. Jerko, your runner at third. Wong at second base. Cardinals trying to extend the 3-run lead here in the home half of the 8th. And Bader pops it up right side. Will it find the seats? It will. Two and two the count. Long look by Lyles. Time not called. And here we go. The 2-2 pitch to Bader. Chops it foul. Boy, he hung that one, didn't he?
He did right there. And one of the few breaking balls he's been able to throw for a strike. He's pulled a lot of them off, but that thing backed up on him. That thing's up a little bit further. You're going to see Harrison Bader drive that ball to left field and turn on the afterburners again.
It's another 2-2 pitch to Bader. On a play. This will be the 8th pitch coming up. '27th pitch of the inning for Jordan Lyles. The 2-2. Again to Bader. 3-2. Patrick Wisdom at the on-deck circle. His season high in pitches in relief, 45, and he did that back on April 29th against the Mets. 3-2 the count. Bader a check swing, and he did go. So the strikeout of Harrison Bader. And with 2 outs, Patrick Wisdom will be the batter, and we'll have a pitching change. Craig Counsell will go to his pen. Taylor Williams had been throwing. The fans here in St. Louis on this Friday night having a little fun. It's back to a 3-run lead for St. Louis. Patrick Wisdom coming up when we come back. game. And I'm sure one of the questions, at least for the moment, that Craig Counsell will be asked about is not having a lefty come in to face Colton Wong with the bases loaded.
I mean, this is a tight ball game. You get the big hit to get you back into it within a run. Now, we don't know. This happens oftentimes. You don't know what guys are dealing with down there. Maybe there's somebody, maybe one of your lefties is barking. Maybe a guy is just unavailable, and that could be the answer.
Sure.
But it is definitely a question I'm sure he's going to be fielding after this one.
And there's a ball. It's a 1-run deficit, and they did have a day off yesterday. But again, he's got the info that many of us do not. Namely, guy's elbow barking.
Never know.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Patrick Wisdom with 2 runners on. And it's 2 balls, no strikes. Carpenter on deck, so you're going to get a pitch to hit right here. He does not want to go to 3-0.
No, absolutely not. We've seen the damage that Patrick Wisdom is able to do. Had a monster year at AAA last year, 31 home runs, I believe it was. This year, proved he can hit for even more average, career high average wise, still showing off some power. And if you give him something down the middle, he can drive it.
The 2-0 pitch. May have chased the ball, but he did get a fastball, and he was geared up for it.
He was, yeah, and this one was just well located. It was 96 on the outer half right there. If it leaks over the heart of the plate, it's going to get hit hard. But Williams does a good job of keeping it away right there.
Two balls and 1 strike. And the next to Wisdom. 3-1. Well, you've got Carpenter on deck. His numbers are just ridiculous in his career with the bases loaded. He's having an MVP type season. Williams knows that. Wisdom knows that. The ballpark knows it.
And you don't have that lefty up in the bullpen either to go get him. He's going to get something to hit right here.
The 3-1 pitch. Three and 2. Three and 2 the count on Patrick Wisdom. Runners at second and third. And he got him. Strikes out Wisdom. Cardinals strand a pair, but a big base hit. Colton Wong. And it's back to a 3-run lead. into the ball game with the Cardinals leading by the score of 5-2. So Chevy called to the pen, his 52nd appearance this year. And as Ricky said, 3 tough outs to get. Ryan Braun, 10 for 32 in his career against Norris. He was removed in the 5th inning on Wednesday, rib cage tightness. In 20 games since the break, hitting .323. And the first pitch is a foul ball.
Well, the Cardinals gave Bud Norris a little bit of breathing room here. Get a chance to just go right at him. Be aggressive right here. No free passes. Ryan Braun been sitting there for a while. I'm sure he's been trying to loosen up the entire game for this at bat. It's a pretty tough one against Bud Norris.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Chicago in their ball game leading 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th against Pittsburgh. The Cardinals, if they can win, would be a half game back of these Milwaukee Brewers. The 1-1 fouled back, and it's 1-2. The cagey veteran in Bud Norris and the big slugger Ryan Braun. The 1-2 struck him out.
Bello Cooling and Heating, #1 rated. Call now for special offers. Bello, answer the bell.
Bud Norris goes with the heater in right here. 95 miles an hour, ties up Braun. You know he's looking for the slider, looking for the cutter away, and he gets the cheese on the inner half. Great pitch, well executed there by Bud Norris.
Eric Kratz, and strike 1. A single to left. He is struck out and grounded back to the pitcher. And we show a lot of the head-to-head matchups against Bud Norris. And for those that have been around the game for a while, it's almost like you can throw him out because Norris was a starter, and you know, it's a different guy.
He's totally different now. The velocity is up more than before. The cutter for him has evolved big time. His slider, he's able to dot.
In the air
there.
Right field. O'Neill. 2 away. The Cardinals trying to hold on for that young man, Jack Flaherty. 6 solid innings, no runs, 7 strikeouts. Then it was Hudson and Jordan Hicks, and now Norris. The batter is Keon Broxton. Cardinals trying to go back to 11 games above 500. 2 outs, nobody on. Strike 1.
Bud Norris just pumping strikes. That's a nice cutter right there to get it started. Got feel for all his pitches. Had a rough one a couple of games ago. Bounced back really well. Got his 23rd save 2 days ago. And spots up 95 down. You can tell he's feeling it too. We talked about the atmosphere in this stadium. It's not just the fans that feel it. The players feel it as well. They know how big this weekend is.
Nothing in 2 the count on Keon Broxton. Brewers down to their final strike. The next by Norris. Fly ball into right. O'Neill chases it down. They'll hold Broxton to a single, even though he bobbled that ball. Quickly gets it back in. And Broxton extends the ball game on an 0-2 pitch. Christian Yelich. The Brewers now about hit the Cardinals 7-6. But St. Louis with the 3-run lead. So 2 outs, a runner at first. Broxton takes second base. Fielder's indifference.
Bud Norris this year has been good against everybody, but especially against lefties. That cutter and slider of his really does a great job of tying it up. Good example on that first pitch right there to Yelich. We've seen him get extended a couple of times today. Bud Norris with his stuff able to pound him in.
Just missed. And it's a ball and a strike.
Well, you see the pitch right here. I mean, that's a strike. Everybody misses one every once in a while. Big spot though on a tough hitter. You'd much rather be 0-2.
The 1-1. Outside corner, strike 2. And again, the Brewers down to their final strike. Two and two.
See this fastball down and away, 96 mile an hour, very well spotted. Could have gone either way. We've had 2 in this at bat. The first fastball that he missed 95 on the inner half definitely looked like a strike. He wanted that one as well, but he's not going to let him take it out of this at bat.
The 2-2. A little bouncer back to Norris. A flip to first, and the Cardinals take game 1 of this all-important weekend series. 5-2 the final.
Well, we saw some great starting pitching by that young man, Jack Flaherty. The bullpen got the job done, and clutch hitting yet again. What a nice way to start this weekend series versus the Brewers.
Off to the post-game show. Missouri Lottery, Cardinals Live. They'll take you inside the Cardinals clubhouse. Here from Mike Schilt. 5-2 the final.